Hey guys, this is another clarification video. The first clarification video was about simply uploading images. I think that's one of the big things that folks need to be very clear on how to do. Not only how to upload images, but also how and why to understand dimensions and why they matter. For example, when we left off, we were talking a lot about these slider images, and there are, what, 6 of them? And I know we only uploaded one image for each of these slider windows, but if we were to upload several different several different uh, image of documents that were different sizes, and then we tried to run through this, it might look a little funny. And so it's really kind of handy to be able to refer. Let me go back to the folder that I have sent all of you guys. Here it is, modified rocket launcher. And so it's kind of interesting. Here's the original. Whoops. Here is that yellow kind of mustard file that was uploaded and planted into the slider. And all we did was we changed the color so that we know which is which, because I'm a very visual person. I would assume that a lot of the folks taking this class, you have a visual way of thinking and learning and doing, similar to me. So it made sense for me to kind of give these images different colors so I really understand where they go in the scheme of things. Again, I've used this phrase before, reverse engineering. We're working essentially with a website. When we're given a theme, we're essentially given a website that is fully functional and ready to go. We might have to modify it a little bit to meet our purpose, but for the most part, it's locked and ready to go. All we have to do is just kind of make a few changes and add a few pages and swap out some images. But again, for the most part, these themes, they're built ready to rock and roll. Okay? Embrace that. Don't fight against it. Embrace it. And when you do that, you can, after you become a little more comfortable, then you can try pushing those rules a little bit, like dimensions. But as a reminder that this particular slider image is 1200 by 690. And this, let's see, let's take a look at the, looks like these vertical slideshow images are 1200 by 513. That's kind of a funny number, but that's what they say to do. So we're going to do it. So when I create new images to plant in here, I'm not going to say, you know what, I'm going to do whatever the heck I want to do. I'm going to follow the rules and I'm going to plug in 1200 by 513. So the next thing I'm going to do is for this particular tutorial, I want to walk through 5 pages, creating 5 pages for you all. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create those 5 pages, and don't do it under posts, please. Do it under pages. In fact, this whole post business is more built towards the way WordPress used to operate in its beginnings, which was more as a blog site. But we're creating more of a web architecture site where there are specific pages that the user can navigate to, not a blog. And so I would click on pages, click add new. And then I'm going to get rid of this. By the way, you're not going to add any content here. Please don't add any content here, but only create page titles. And for the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to keep it pretty darn simple. 1. Create another one. 2. 3, 4, and then I'm coming over here and I'm clicking publish twice actually. And then I'm backing up, hitting that W to back up. And now I'm going to make the last and fifth one. Fifth. 5, excuse me. Come on. Difficulty with my cursor. Pick W. Now if you come over here, you can organize according to date, which is pretty handy. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We've made 5 pages, okay, that we need to work with, but we've done it on the WordPress backend area. Believe it or not, we also need to create those 5 pages under the Fluent theme area as well. So I'm going to click on the Fluent theme area. And remember, there are multiple different layouts available. So that's, if you go to the drop-down menu, you'll see there's a full width layout, there's a left sidebar layout, there's a right sidebar layout, blah, blah, blah. You'll see these layouts that come pre-packaged and ready to use. And then we can actually view them if you come over here to layouts. So there's left sidebar, so you can get a sense of how it looks. There's 2 sidebars, so you can get a sense of how it looks. There's my personal favorite, just simply right sidebar. So you have a little more room for content, and then some items on the right-hand side. I think that's really nice. It's really nice and simple, right? That's the one that we're going to be using 5 times. We're going to be using this page layout 5 times. And we're going to do that by duplicating that layout 5 times. Okay. And we've created the pages on the WordPress backend. Now we need to create the 5 pages on the Fluent backend. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here to Outlines, up here in the top right-hand corner. Click it. You're going to scroll down and you're going to find the pre-packaged layout that comes with the template called right sidebar. Don't click the blue one because that means you're going to edit. Don't click the red one because that means you're going to delete. You're going to want to click the middle one that says duplicate. You want to duplicate this layout. You do not want to overwrite it. You do not want to change your original because you're going to need it. Do not change this original. Duplicate it and move forward. And we're going to duplicate. So click duplicate, boom. And because we want some consistency between the WordPress pages that we created and the theme or Fluent theme layouts that we're creating, we want to use the same language. So I'm going to say 1. And yes, inherit every section. Now look, 1 is up here. If I click refresh, it'll reorganize itself so it's alphabetized. And so there's 1. Now I'm going to click 1 again. 2. Refresh. There's 2. There it is. Duplicate. 3. Refresh. Duplicate. 3. 4. Refresh. We're going to duplicate 4 into 5, right? There it is. 5. Okay. So now we've set up these ducks, okay? But now we need to facilitate the communication between the WordPress page and the theme layout. Remember, we didn't add any content to these pages. If we click on one of these pages, there's nothing here, it's blank. And we want to keep it that way. Please do not add any content to these pages. You don't need to. We're doing it in another location. We're doing it on the theme backend. But before we do that, we have to establish communication between this page and the theme page layout that we've decided that we're going to use. In order to do that, you need to go to the drop down and notice how now there's, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so we're just going to do this one step at a time. We're going to start with 1. Click on it, it shows up. Now we need to go over, instead of, we know what layout is. We're familiar with that. We know what styles is a bit, but the truth is we don't want to adjust any styles here because it's not a global page. If we wanted to adjust styles, we would do it on the base outline, right? We learned that in Web Design 1 regarding the way CSS operates. You never want to make any styles changes on a specific page. It's crazy, trust me. But we do want to come over here to assignments. Scroll down. And by the way, as a reminder, we're at the drop down for the page called 1, which is a duplicate of a right sidebar layout. And we want to make this theme layout communicate with page 1 that we've created over here. And there's a simple way to do that. I usually put my cursor in the middle here so I don't mess with, like, these guys. And I just scroll down gently. There's the page that's called 1, and you just simply turn it on. Save assignments. We're going to do that again for 2. Now we're on the 2 layout, but we need to go to assignments, right? Scroll down. On page 2. Now, you can only have one page turned on for every page or layout. So if I were to turn on multiple pages, I would confuse the database, and that's not what we want. So make sure you only have one turned on. It's very tricky. Sometimes folks are doing this with a mouse pad, or you're doing it with, to be frank, a mouse that's just kind of janky. Be cautious when you're turning things on and off, and make sure there's only one turned on, and it's the right one. Save assignments. Now we got to go to 3. Notice how I'm very methodical with this stuff, guys, because I don't want to miss a beat. 3. Oops. Again, being careful, cautious. There's page 3. Turn it on. Save assignments. 4. Pull down gently. Turn that puppy on. It happens to be right there at the top. Go. And 5. Scroll down. There it is. Turn that guy on. Save. Now, you're not going to really see any changes. What we just did, it doesn't add those pages to the menu. We're not there yet, guys. But I will show you that things are working. I can see that things are working because I need the URL. I need the path that will direct me to the page. I can only find that at this point in one location. So I have to go back to WordPress backend, click on pages. I like to click date so that you can see all the recent images here or pages at the top. I'm going to start with number 1. Look, there's the path. And by the way, I know that this is the URL is a little bit different from the one that I was working with in a previous tutorial, but pay no mind. But here we go. That's page 1. I'm creating a new tab to place that guy in. I guess I really didn't have to do that. But you know what? I know what I called these pages. So I could actually come in here and say 2. There it is. 1, 2, just going to copy, 3, 4, 5. The reason why I know that the URLs will work is because I know what I called the pages. So I can guess that if I change this to 5, F-I-V-E, and hit enter, it's going to navigate to that page because that's what the page is called. And look at the content. Notice how the content is exactly the same. So there's 1, 2, 3. We need 1 for 4, right? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice how they're all exactly the same right now. That's good because we want consistency. And so, for example, all of these are an opportunity for you to plug in unique content for your work. So let's say, for example, you have 5 different paintings. You've just created 5 different pages where you can upload images associated with those 5 different paintings. Okay, but remember, consistency is good. Now, I'm also in a future video, I teach you guys how to plug in unique code and swap out the images and do that sort of thing. This particular video is focused exclusively on one thing: how to create a page and how to connect that WordPress page with the theme layout, which in the layout that we've chosen for this particular circumstance is right sidebar. Notice how right sidebar has been repeated 5 times, and all 5 of those pages are working successfully, and they are exactly the same. The only thing that's changing right now is the URL. At some point, we'll go in and make some bigger changes to these. We'll add images, we'll do this, we'll do that. But for the time being, I'm just happy that the pages are working, frankly. It's great. The only, again, as a reminder, the only way to really access the URLs for these pages, you can't do it from the Fluent theme backend. You can do it from pages then. Click on a page. That URL is going to be here on the right-hand side. Click it, and you come down here, click it again, and it'll open it up and show you the page. This is a circumstance where, the previous video, video 2, was very much focused on web architecture. Well, I mean, you guys have to have a sense of what pages you need to create for the work that you have available. And if you haven't worked out that problem, getting to this place where you think you need to create pages for work that you don't have, or you don't know how to organize, you're getting ahead of the curve a little bit. And so that's why project 2 and that aspect of this course is very important. You have to have a pretty good understanding of how you're going to build a website. And maybe the understanding that you have currently isn't everything, because this is a learning moment. It's a learning opportunity. So you don't have to have everything resolved, but maybe you're going to decide for the purpose of this course. Let's say you're a painting student. Let's say you're going to choose 5 painting projects and 5 drawing projects for the purpose of this class and learning WordPress and how to organize things. And that's enough for now, okay? So understand the scope of things and don't overwork yourself and don't overload yourself. Creating 10 pages is plenty for a real nice, healthy website when you're beginning to learn, all right? And again, this video is very much focused on simply creating pages and seeing that they work, okay? We're not changing content, we're not doing anything. And as a reminder, you never change content here on the WordPress backend. You don't need to add any content to these pages. It's trying to tell you to plug stuff in. But listen, that book that I've given you guys, I've decided I'm never going to even give students that book again because it was just misleading. And it was giving you information that you don't need to know. The only things that you guys should be doing in WordPress are what you see me doing in these videos. And because what I'm really doing is I'm distilling the information for you. I'm giving you the information you need to build a WordPress site quickly and efficiently and without all the extraneous information. You guys, still to this day, I have never built a post. Why? Because this isn't 1998. That's why. I don't even know why they have that there. You do need to create pages, but I would never, I don't use WordPress for a blog site at all. That's just me. Okay. But please, I've noticed some students, they're coming up here and they're making posts and they're wondering why they don't see things. Please just do what you're seeing me do in these videos. Don't do any further for the time being, because you'll crawl yourself into a rabbit hole and you're not going to be able to find your way out. Okay, good for now. Thank you.